Hi guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are going to be doing my first mock draft on my YouTube channel. Before we get started, I encourage you to disagree or comment on my picks in the comments section below. Make sure to like and subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. Now, let's dive into it. With the first pick in the draft, I have the Bengals taking Joe Burrow. This is a pretty obvious pick. Bengals need a quarterback. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the draft class. I'd be surprised if they do anything else. Maybe they want Chase Young because he's the best player in the class by a good deal, but I have them Joe Burrow and I doubt anyone else has it differently. With the second pick in the draft, I have the Washington Redskins taking Chase Young. I think this is once again another obvious pick. I feel like the first two picks are pretty set in stone. Chase Young being the best player in the class and Joe Burrow being the best quarterback in the class to a quarterback needy team. Those two picks I feel like are set in stone. No one's gonna pick anyone else. With a third pick in the draft, I have the Lions taking Jeff Okudah. This is where the draft really starts in my opinion. I really can see them only going two different players, Jeff Okudah or Isaiah Simmons. And I think they will go Okudah because they have a weaker cornerback room and they lost Darius Slade to the Eagles, only to be replaced with Desmond Trufant, who is a far inferior cornerback to Darius Slade. And I feel like Matt Patricia really wants that lockdown cornerback to become like their identity, to make their identity be an elite secondary. As for Isaiah Simmons, I don't really see them taking him because of their defensive scheme. I feel like the best way to use Isaiah Simmons' athleticism would be to play him in a weak side utility linebacker role similar to Telvin Smith. Or move him around the field, which I think that the Lions aren't as comfortable doing under the Matt Patricia scheme. Plus, I feel like Jeff Okudah is a slightly better player. I could also see them trading down, but because this is a mock draft with no trades, I have them taking Jeff Okudah. Moving on to pick 4, I have the Giants taking offensive tackle Jedrick Wills. I think that the Giants have to go offensive tackle because they have one of the weakest offensive lines in the league, and plus they have Jason Garrett as their new offensive coordinator. And what's the first thing that he did when he got to Dallas? You're right, build up the strongest offensive line in the league with Travis Frederick, who just recently retired, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and also the only other pick I feel like they can go is Isaiah Simmons, but as I said, they really need to build up that offensive line, and Jedrick Wills is the best offensive tackle in the class, in my opinion, so that's why he's my pick. With the 5th pick in the NFL draft, I have the Dolphins taking Tua Tagovailoa because they really need a quarterback. They might need to trade up for him with like the Lions or someone, but I think he'll slide here at number 5 to the Dolphins. He's the undisputed second best quarterback back in the draft. His only downside is his injury concerns, and really I just see them only taking Tua if they take anyone here. At number 6, I have the Chargers going with quarterback Justin Herbert. I think he's the 3rd best quarterback in the class. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they go Jordan Love because they're like neck and neck. Like Herbert's like a hair better in my opinion, but the Chargers are in desperate need of a quarterback. I feel like that's their only missing piece to make them a Super Bowl contender. Look at them, they have an elite defense, they have great receivers, they just need a quarterback and maybe a better offensive line, but I see them going quarterback here. Pick 7 to the Panthers, we see Isaiah Simmons go. He's a very versatile linebacker that I think the Panthers need because they have holes at cornerback, safety, linebacker, and edge, all of which Isaiah Simmons can slide into play in different packages. And he's just really versatile, really flexible linebacker. I wouldn't be surprised if they go Derek Brown here because they also have weak interior defensive line. But I think Isaiah Simmons is a better player, and especially with the loss of Luke Kuechly, they really are weak at linebacker. So that's why I have them going with Isaiah Simmons here. At pick 8, I have the Cardinals going offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs. I think that since you got DeAndre Hopkins, you don't need to go after receiver anymore. So therefore, you go after offensive line because you're very weak there, and I think your focus has to be on protecting your franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray. And in my opinion, Tristan Wirfs is the 2nd best offensive tackle in the class and the best one on the board right now. So that is why he is my pick here. With the 9th selection in the draft, I have the Jaguars going Derek Brown. In my opinion, he's a top 6 player in the class, and this would be a really big steal if the Jaguars were able to get him at this spot. And with a weak defensive line, with Calais Campbell leaving, and Marcel Darius aging, I think that the Jaguars have to go with Brown here because it's just best player available. And at pick 10, I have the Browns going Mekhi Becton. Personally, I think he's the 4th best tackle in the class, but everyone else is really high on him, so I'm gonna have him being the 3rd tackle off the board. And he's a great pass blocking tackle that I think the Browns really need because they run block pretty well. And I think the Browns, even though they got Jack Conklin in free agency, they still have to go tackle, protect Baker Mayfield, give Nick Chubb running lanes. It's just all you need to do. That's why I have Mekhi Becton going number 10 to the Browns. With the 11th pick in the draft, I have the Jets going Jerry Jeudy. I really can only see them going wide receiver or offensive tackle here, and with 3 offensive tackles going already, I feel like they don't want to go offensive tackle, and plus, with the probability of them losing Robbie Anderson in free agency, their wide receiver core is extremely weak, and in my opinion, Jerry Jeudy is the best wide receiver in the class, so he should go here at number 11. At number 12, I have another wide receiver going in CeeDee Lamb, who in my opinion is the 2nd best receiver in the class and is great value at this pick. The only other player that I could really see going at this spot is Jordan Love, but I feel like he wouldn't really go here because that's a little bit of a reach for him, and also I think the Raiders would rather have a receiver in CeeDee Lamb than a quarterback battle between Jordan Love and Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota as well. Number 13, we have the pick that the Colts traded to the 49ers for DeForest Buckner. I feel like the only reason why the 49ers would trade up here is to get a receiver. Like, it doesn't make sense for them to take Javon Kinlaw here because I feel like DeForest Buckner is a better player than Javon Kinlaw, and so I feel like they have to trade up for a wide receiver, if at all, because their receiving core is very weak. I feel like they'll be disappointed that the top wide receivers aren't on the board in Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb, so they're going to go with Henry Ruggs. At pick number 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Andrew Thomas, who in my opinion is the 3rd best offensive tackle in the class. I think that they really need to take offensive tackle here to protect Tom Brady. Like, you come and get Tom Brady in free agency, you need to make your offense and protecting him your top priority, not selecting Javon Kinlaw on a defensive line that already has a ton of strength to it with Vita Vea. With the 15th pick, I have the Broncos taking wide receiver Justin Jefferson. This might be a reach, but after a fantastic combine performance, I think he fits well with the Broncos. He's a very good slot receiver that would go well with Courtland Sutton, and I feel like they'd be disappointed that Henry Ruggs didn't fall to them, but they'd be satisfied with Justin Jefferson, who in my opinion is the 4th receiver in the class and is a top 20 player in this draft class. With the 16th pick, I gave the Falcons Cleveland Chason from LSU. He's an edge rusher with a high upside, but is a little bit of a risky prospect. I toyed with the idea of giving them CJ Henderson or Christian Fulton or some other cornerback, but in the end, I think they need edge rusher more. At pick 17, I gave the Cowboys CJ Henderson because they're a cornerback needy team with the loss of Byron Jones. I could have given them Xavier McKinney, but I think that they need corner now more than safety, which I used to give them. But I'm not the biggest fan of CJ Henderson because he pretty much took the whole year off at Florida this past season, but he's the 2nd best cornerback in the class, so I have to give him to the Cowboys. At number 18, I gave the Miami Dolphins Xavier McKinney to kind of be their Minkah Fitzpatrick replacement, since they are really weak at safety now. Also, Xavier McKinney could play some cornerback as well. He's very versatile. If there was a viable offensive lineman option right now, I would definitely give him to them. But I feel like picking Josh Jones is a little bit of a reach right here. At number 19, the Raiders walk into Javon Kinlaw. He's the best player available at this spot, so they decide to pick him here. With the linebacker no longer in need due to free agency, they have the freedom to pick whoever they want, which in this spot is Javon Kinlaw. At number 20, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Christian Fulton from LSU, who is a monster need for them after trading away both Jalen Ramsey and AJ Bouye this season. So corner is literally an insane need, and if they don't pick a corner in the first round, I will be extremely shocked. At number 21, with the top wide receivers off the board, I have the Philadelphia Eagles taking Patrick Queen to fill up their void at linebacker that they were unable to fill in free agency. At number 22, I have the Vikings selecting Jeff Gladney with the Bills pick that they acquired from the Stephon Diggs trade. They are very weak at cornerback after cutting Xavier Rhodes. At pick 23, I have the quarterback Jordan Love going to the New England Patriots. With Tom Brady leaving, I think that the Patriots have to take a quarterback in the draft. And at this point, Jordan Love is the best quarterback available. I think that under Bill Belichick, he would be a fantastic quarterback prospect for the New England Patriots to have. pick 24, I have the Saints selecting Kenneth Murray because there are no good wide receivers on the board right now, and especially after they got Emmanuel Sanders, I don't think they need a receiver anymore. Also, they extended Andrus Peat, so I don't think they need interior offensive line. So I think they go Kenneth Murray to help their weak linebacker core. At pick 25, I have the Vikings selecting Yetur Gross-Matos to pair up with Danielle Hunter for 2 fast speed rushers off the edge. At pick 26, I have the Dolphins selecting Josh Jones to fix their terrible offensive line and to protect their new franchise quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. At pick 27, the Seahawks select AJ Epineza to replace Jadeveon Clowney, who are they probably going to lose in free agency, despite them being complete opposite players, with Jadeveon Clowney being an athletic edge rusher, while AJ Epineza is a more powerful and bull rushing edge rusher. With the 28th pick, the Baltimore Ravens select T. Higgins. I think that they should take T. Higgins because their wide receiver core is very weak, and just imagining what Lamar Jackson could do with a strong receiving core is just insane. They need a big body catch receiver. They already have their route running speedster in Marquise Brown. With the 29th pick, I have the Tennessee Titans selecting Zack Baun. This is an interesting pick. I don't know if they would make it in real life, but I'm really high on Zack Baun, and they needed an edge rusher if they don't get Jadeveon Clowney, which they haven't as of the time I'm recording this video. And I feel like Zack Baun would fit well with their system. The 30th pick in the draft, I have the Packers reaching a little bit for a receiver with no trade down options since it's not a mock draft with trades. I have them taking Laviska Shenault to fill their receiver needs. The 31st pick in the draft, I had the San Francisco 49ers selecting Grant Delpit, which I think could be a huge steal if they draft the version of him from his sophomore season rather than his junior season, where he saw his draft stock fall a lot due to minimal effort on the field. With the 32nd pick in the draft, I have the Kansas City Chiefs selecting Trevon Diggs to fill out their weak secondary with a physical corner from Alabama. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And until next time.